Businesses can abuse human rights in a number of ways. In the maritime environment, this can include forced labor and slavery. This occurs when a person has been trafficked into a crewing position without any contractual agreement and the protections that come with it. Another way these abuses can occur is through poor or inhumane working conditions, such as dismantling vessels under hazardous conditions, poor pay, or physical abuse. If a business is abusing the human rights of its employees, there are a multitude of risks. These include the closing of the work premises, legal fines, unnecessary costs, and finally, can damage the reputation of the business. This can have the biggest impact on revenue and brand value. Implementing the guiding principles into a business will help attract investments and improve reputation. It can reduce costs arising from fewer adverse human rights impacts and improve supply chain risk management. Here is some information on how to apply the guiding principles to a business. Businesses should include human rights awareness and protections in their policies. This will regulate their operations and their suppliers. Include human rights into their framework of reporting. Use management systems to measure levels of internal awareness and commitment to human rights. Establish a remediation process for human rights grievances. Here are some key questions that should be asked within your business. Do we understand what the guiding principles are and why their integration and implementation will benefit our business? Do we have the relevant professional expertise to advise our senior management team and board correctly? Do we have a policy commitment to implementing the guiding principles? Do we have a set of core corporate principles and values that uphold the guiding principles, and specifically the second pillar of respect as a matter of agreed company policy? Do we have internal implementing guidelines across the business for the guiding principles and reflecting core values of transparency, accountability, and effective remedy? Do we have a developed internal compliance system to educate about, proactively identify, and limit any potential human rights abuses? Do we have a reporting mechanism and system for the publication of lessons identified and lessons learned, which can be shared both internally and externally? Do we have an implementation policy for awareness about and the correct use of human rights impact assessments? Do we integrate HRAS into all our commercial contracts as part of our standard terms and conditions for new and existing business within our supply chain? Do we have an established policy and process to effectively assess human rights impacts, for example, through human rights due diligence procedures, including company risk assessments, HRAS, or integrated assessments? Do we have employees trained in human rights and what they mean for the business, our delivery, and our market function? Do we have a company stakeholder engagement plan, and are both internal and external stakeholders consulted on our human rights policies and procedures? Do we have an operational level and effective independently reviewed grievance mechanism in place where our employees and other affected stakeholders can lodge grievances? Do we have independent and qualified external assessors to undertake periodic reviews and health checks of our guiding principles implementation, reporting to the senior management team and board?